guys, it's an exciting day because look who I have here. Woohoo! It's Hiram, and obviously we're doing a collab.
Yes, I'm so excited. She offered this and I instantly said yes.
And I was like,
absolutely.
Yes, this is my favorite collab ever.
You're so sweet for saying that, my heart. Oh my gosh, I'm so pumped for this. Obviously, you guys watching Susan Yara for so long, we've all been so impacted by your videos and how you contributed to the community. So I'm just so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here because we also have a really fun topic.
Yes, I'm so excited for this topic because we're gonna be talking about skincare mistakes that influencers make, part 2.
All right, so we said this is part 2. There's obviously a part 1. We'll link it below in the description box. But I feel like there are so many more mistakes that we see influencers make. We constantly see other influencers. And you know what, in the past, I probably made some of these mistakes, but
I am guilty as charged.
I mean, we see the trends and we follow, right?
Yeah.
That's why I think a video like this is super important because we're all guilty of following the trends, right? And so if we have a video like this where we debunk the trends, then maybe people will stop.
Absolutely. I mean, content is being created every single day, so of course mistakes are going to be made and out there, so we'll have a constant supply to talk about in this video. More education, more knowledge, better improvements that people can make, so it's all for a good cause.
Definitely, definitely. All right, so you want to hit them with number 1?
Yes, so mistake number 1 that I see all the time is that influencers will use too much product. When you see it like close up on their face, they'll take like 3 vials worth of oil and just like dramatically drip it down their face and smother it to where I'm like, whoa, you literally needed like 5 drops at most. Like usually like 3 drops, but here they are using like a few vials.
Yeah.
I just think it's really unnecessary, and sometimes using too much product can be a bad thing, especially if it's like an exfoliating product.
Oh
like,
my gosh, yes.
You're risking like a lot of sensitivity, irritation, and just damage for your skin, so it's a huge no-no in my opinion.
And your skin can only handle so much.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to drown in it, and then you know you get people saying like, I use this product and it didn't absorb into my skin. It's like, oh, you maybe used a little too much.
Oh yeah, and I made this mistake before. There was one serum that I was using. It was a niacinamide serum, and I talked about how I didn't like it in a video, and people saw how much I was using. I was using a full vial, and they were like, you only need to use like 5 drops, and I was like, oh. So that's when I realized, that's when I realized like I was in the wrong, and then sure enough, I started seeing more influencers like making that same mistake, and it definitely needs to be changed, especially for certain types of products that could be really irritating.
More is not more in this case.
Nope, not at all.
So the next mistake I see is actually taking the vial from their oil or their serum or anything like that and actually touching it directly to their skin.
Yes.
And I'm like, I agree it looks better on camera.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that, you're teaching other people to do it, and you're not explaining that maybe this is just for visual effect, but then you're potentially transferring some bacteria.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first started using serums, I did it in that like drag it across the skin, the dropper, which I soon realized is not the thing that you're supposed to do. And yeah, they do it for like the clickbait, Instagram, you know, video style, but in actuality, like you should not be.
Definitely don't do that.
You should not be doing that.
No, and here's the thing. It's like, hopefully your skincare products have some preservatives, which I know is like a bad word these days.
No, it's not a bad word. It's a good thing. Preservatives are great.
Necessary.
Yeah.
Very, very necessary. And that's one of the reasons why. If you're sticking your fingers in it, which we do if it's in a tub, if you are putting it to your skin, those preservatives are there to help you.
Yeah, and especially depending on the type of oil or serum that you are using from a dropper. Usually droppers aren't, you know, those formulas aren't meant to be like dipped into like a moisturizer, so it could mess with the preservatives that are in there, potentially resulting in more bacteria growth. It really just depends on the formula, which is why it's just better to not touch it.
Just don't do it, yeah.
Just don't touch it.
Yeah.
So another mistake that I personally see a lot, especially with influencers who do, you know, start to, you know, gain more attention and more success, which great for them, but they do feel that they need to purchase really expensive products. Like I'm talking moisturizers that are like $500 each, and their entire routine will be extreme luxury skincare, which I mean, you got that money, good for you, great work, but you don't need an expensive skincare routine to actually have effective results. There are amazing products that are expensive, and there are amazing products at the drugstore. It really just depends on the formula.
I agree. I mean, I tend to be a skincare snob.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll be a little bit.
So, you know, sometimes I'm like, well, I want that fancy shit.
Yeah, of course. I mean, who wouldn't,
yeah,
you know?
Exactly. But you're right. It's not necessary to have everything expensive. Sometimes the better products, I talk about drugstore products all the
Yeah,
time.
all the
Sometimes
time.
the better products are not super expensive. And I think it's one of those things too. You guys have heard me talk about, like, I'm not going to mention the doctor, but there's a brand out there that's just overly priced, and I put that out there all the time. Hyaluronic acid, for instance, is cheap, you guys. It is so cheap. It should never be expensive.
There's countless brands out there to where I read the back of the package and I'm like, this is literally the exact same formula as like a $5 product at Target. So why? And definitely, I think there are incredible products out there. Like there's some that are like $200 that I'm like, oh, I got my eye on you. You are gorgeous. I love that formula. But I can say the same for like a lot more affordable products. And whenever I see an entire routine made up of all extreme luxury, I just think there's a bit of a misconception backing that.
Yeah, definitely. There's nothing wrong with it either, but it definitely sends the wrong message to everybody.
Exactly.
Speaking of unnecessary, the skin fridge, you guys. I get so many DMs. Do you get DMs about this? Tell me about the skin fridge. Do I need a skin fridge? No, you don't need a skin fridge.
Nope, not necessary at all. I get messages all the time about it, and my thought process is always the functionality of a skin fridge is the exact same as your normal
refrigerator.
Fridge. So why do you need it?
Yeah, you don't need that. It's fun. You can have one. It's definitely fun. There aren't that many products that you need to put into a refrigerator. If it's something for depuffing, it definitely like amps it up, and that cooling sensation is there for sure, and it'll help depuff. But besides that, you don't need to put your skincare products in there unless the person you bought it from or the brand says to actually put it into the refrigerator. Otherwise, they formulated it to sit on your shelf.
Exactly. And depending on the type of product, it can actually like mess with the effectiveness. But there are products that feel amazing when you put it onto the face and it's a cooling sensation. That's great. But do you really need a separate fridge for that?
No,
You're talking like
you
2-3 products you could just set next to, the frozen meat in the freezer. Like,
I love it. Next to the oat milk.
Exactly. You could just set it in there and then use it when you need to. There's no need to buy a whole separate fridge for that.
Absolutely. The next one I want to point out, they don't remove their makeup completely.
Yes.
Right?
1,000%. Thank you for saying that.
It's like, I get it. Again, I get it. I get the struggles of being on camera and showing everything, but I also think it sends the wrong message when you're not removing your makeup completely. And we've seen this so many times. And again, guilty. I used to like leave some of my makeup on, so I'd be like, I don't want to be ugly on camera.
Oh,
so
no.
I did it. And it's like, it's one of those things where I totally get it, but then again, it sends the wrong message, and people don't really get to see your skin. They think that maybe it is okay. If you're not explaining to them, they think it's okay to maybe leave some eye makeup on or something.
Yeah.
And it's probably, we have a video on Hiram's channel too, and it's actually something I'm going to talk about a lot on that.
Yes.
Because, in your 20s, it's like when you're trying to wake up next to that, that person that you've got next to you, you're like, I just want to be pretty when I wake up.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's all about your skin, you guys.
Yeah.
Take care of your skin.
You bring up such a good point, especially because I'm shocked by the amount of people that I am contacted by every day that think that using a makeup wipe is enough. Which I know makeup wipes, it's like a cuss word on this channel. Like, don't say that word. But double cleanse. Please double cleanse. I know that she says this all the time, so I will say it for her. But literally, double cleansing is so important, and people don't realize they really do think that using a makeup wipe is enough and then use a toner to follow up. And no, just not at all. I think you're right. It sends the wrong message by people only using a makeup wipe or not cleansing enough on camera. People think that they can follow that exact routine and they don't need it, when in actuality, a lot of times that will be the reason that they're experiencing skin problems in the first place that they're trying to resolve. So just doing a good double cleanse system can solve so many problems. And for the amount of makeup that most influencers wear on camera, it's absolutely necessary.
Oh my gosh, so necessary. And you know what, here's the thing. You guys know how I feel about makeup wipes. Jeez, I feel like I'm always harping on it. I see comments sometimes, they're like, all right, with the makeup wipes, we get it. But truly, like, the biggest issue I have with makeup wipes is not that people are using them in their double cleanse. It's more that they're just using them and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue with makeup wipes, is it makes people think that their skin is clean enough and that's it. And we see that on Instagram all the time. And you guys, it's a problem. No more makeup wipes. And if you are gonna use makeup wipes, if I can't pry them from your hands, then you know what, at least do a second cleanse after that.
Exactly, at the very minimum. And actually, speaking of makeup wipes, that kind of brings me into my next point, which is influencers being too rough with their skin. I see that all the time, to where someone will be removing their makeup on camera and it is like World War III on their face. It's like, all around, they're going crazy, nuts. And I'm like,
well, they're
whoa.
like, they start with the eyelash first. They're like,
Yeah.
and you see the like eyelids stretch out to here.
But even like they take their like jade roller and it's like they're trying to like make mountains all over their face. I don't know what they're doing. I'm like, whoa. Skincare is supposed to be relaxing. It's supposed to be like therapeutic. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
It's okay. You have time. Take your time.
Yeah, treat your face like it's a baby's butt.
If you classify us as influencers, like we have the unique opportunity of being able to show people how to apply their skincare, not just which products to use, but how to apply their skincare. So if we're being overly rough with our face, that sends the message that they can also be overly rough. And that roughness can contribute to inflammation. It can increase aging over time. There's just a lot of problems with it, which is why I don't know why more influencers aren't more careful.
I don't know if they're thinking about it, to be honest.
Yeah, probably not.
Let's go to the next one, and that's using the products in the incorrect order. And I know, you know what, lately I feel like we're getting challenged a lot online. Like people are coming out of the woodworks and they're like, no, you can actually apply your moisturizer first and stuff, or you can apply oil first. We're getting challenged here.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's still thinnest to thickest. That is like the best way to think about it. Obviously, there are some, some things can change, I guess, depending on the product and your own skin and everything, because it's always personal, we admit that. But there's truly an order of when you apply your products, right?
I mean, I will say, like, I have seen different, studies and different reports about like the effectiveness varying, but I still think the best system to use is thinnest to thickest. And I don't necessarily think there's any like harsh rules that you would say like, you have to use this product in this step, you have to do this. There's a, it's a balance, but I do think that thinnest to thickest, I mean, that's what I personally follow.
Yeah.
Like I always finish with a moisturizer and then at the very end a sunscreen. I always do my treatments before. That's just kind of like the natural pattern that I found works best for my skin, and I think the best default to go to.
Yep, definitely.
And then as you gain more knowledge, you can vary it if you want, but I still think that's the best way to go.
Yeah, definitely. And like if thinnest to thickest, sometimes that doesn't make sense because people get confused. They're like, well, is oil thicker than moisturizer or is this like balm like thicker? So I always cleanse and then treatments closest to the skin. That's how I like to think about it.
Too.
And then anything that's going to be really like occlusive, moisturizing, not hydrating. There's a difference.
Can we just say, I'm so glad that you're starting that conversation around the difference between hydration and moisturizing. I was literally taking notes when she started talking about that because I'm like, yes, people need to talk about the difference between those two words.
There's a difference. And then sunscreen. If you're going to wear any protection, it's always last. Before makeup.
Always. So yet another mistake that I see people make is they use so many products. Influencers, we have the unique advantage of being able to try a bunch of different products. And so with that, usually in a single like Instagram video, you will see an influencer use 10 different products, which is, up to them. Yeah, or more, which I mean, I'm like, whew, that's a lot, girl. But, I understand, but they don't follow up with some of the most basic things, like sometimes not a moisturizer, not a sunscreen, and that always shocks me. I know, because it's the most important part of the skincare routine, and it's so funny how in all the extraness of all these certain types of products, they still don't go to the bare bones basic products that you need, cleanser, treatment, moisturizer, sunscreen, the ones that should be a part of every skincare routine, yet they will use 4 different types of essences and 3 different types of serums.
And a mask. Yeah, no, absolutely. They're using all of these products, missing the basics. It sends the wrong message. And I think it kind of goes back to all the luxury too. Skincare is supposed to be indulgent. I definitely have these like really intense skincare routines every once in a while when I really have that time. Like one of my dreams right now is to go rent a really fancy hotel room and just stay there myself, all by myself with a bathtub, and then just go for it. Like I bring like 30 products with me.
That is the dream.
Right?
I want to do that.
Together?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh my God, retreat. Yes, retreat.
Exactly, let's do it. But that isn't my everyday. It's definitely not my everyday. You don't need to do that with your skincare routine. It's too much, guys.
Yeah.
But you can do it. It's just not necessary.
Yeah, exactly. I think just understanding the difference between like, it's like a need and a want.
Yeah.
You need the 4 steps, the 5 steps, whatever you do. But the want is, the rest of it, all the essences,
and you can
the
want.
toners. Yes.
You can want. Yes. I want all the time.
Oh yeah, we are like the epitome of want. With the amount of products that we go through, it's nuts.
Yeah, that actually leads me to my very last mistake that I see influencers make.
Okay.
And that's that they don't stick with a product for long enough. You guys, patience is the key when it comes to skincare. With your treatments, with everything, it's, you're not gonna see a result in a week. The only time I tell somebody to stop using a product within a week is if they're getting some kind of an irritation. Then I'm like, stop using it. It's not the product for you. But if you want to see actual results, like your hyperpigmentation disappear, your wrinkles start to look a little less wrinkly.
Yeah.
You know, if you want, I'm like, I guess it's a funny one. If you want to see anything like that start to transform on your skin, it takes time. You know, somebody told me this one time, they're like, your hyperpigmentation took a long time to get there, so it's going to take a little while to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And that's the way to think about all of your skincare, is it's going to take time. You should stick with some of your products for a while to truly see the results.
It can be really tempting to want really fast results, but oftentimes, like, the things that are the most healthy and beneficial for our skin take time. You don't want to do anything too drastic, too instantaneous, because that could really, you know, put the health of your skin at risk. So those, you know, having that patience is really necessary in order to avoid any possible negative side effects.
I
agree.
Completely agree. And I get it, you guys. Sometimes we don't want to be patient either. Sometimes, like, you know, right now, can I talk about being pregnant again? Are people over me saying I was pregnant? I was pregnant. But this is what I'm going through right now. It's like I had the baby and now I just want to go for it, right?
Yeah.
But it's, you know, I got to ease in. It's all baby steps.
Yeah, exactly. But I think because we are in this unique space of like having to use a bunch of different products.
Well, people are like, how was this product? I'm like, I just started using it.
Exactly.
And then they're like, can you try this? Can you tell me about this? And it's like, I want to, trust me, but I only have one face.
Exactly. And even with us having to do that, I think the important thing for people to know is to stay simple, stay with the simple skincare routine, supplement in those amazing products, you know, use the ones that you do want to use, but make sure you just keep it simple and basic so that it doesn't freak your skin out like it obviously has for both of ours at some point.
At some point, definitely. That was part 2 of the skincare influencer mistakes that we've seen. There are always more. I think you actually always react to a lot of the mistakes that you see out there, right?
There will always be unlimited supply on every platform. There will always be something that I have to comment on.
Absolutely. Oh my God, you guys, head over to Hiram's channel because we also did a video there. It's all about the skincare mistakes we make in our 20s.
Yes.
Which I'm well beyond, and I just have a lot to say about what I did to my face in the 20s.
I have so much to say too. Even in my short time, the mistakes I've made are ridiculous. So yeah, head over to my channel if you do want to see that. Thank you so much for having me on your channel.
You guys, it happened! Do we need to make this a regular thing?
Honestly, that would be incredible.
Thank you so much. I feel like this is my baby and he's gonna be bigger than me.
Oh, stop.
You are.
I could never.
Look how, you guys, have you seen how Hiram has grown? It's amazing. It's so good to see this happening.
Thank you. I mean, someone really needs to stop buying me subscribers. I'm like, stop. It's not funny anymore. Like, this really needs to stop.
No, you're amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hiram.
Bye, guys.